What's up, everybody? Microtite here, and hey, we're back! We have to have a talk. This is normally the part of the episode where I will tell you about the show, what they play, and the interview that you are about to see. But catastrophe struck. And what I mean by that is catastrophe being me. I did it. I did something bad. Apparently, while you're talking to someone on Skype and you're recording it with XSplit, which is the program that I use, if you enlarge the picture, which I thought I had done before, but if you enlarge the picture, it stops recording the screen and Skype ends up becoming its own separate window that XSplit doesn't pick up on. So literally within the first 20 to 30 seconds of the interview, I enlarged the screen, completely eliminating all video from the interview. So it's only audio. Now, here's where the incredible part happens. Obviously, my guest today for the show is Anarosa De Eizaguirre Butler. She plays Emma Bowman in Contradiction, Spot the Liar. You guys, I can't thank her enough, because what she did was at the end of the first interview, at the end of the interview, I went back to do my check for the video, audio, all that stuff, something I should have done earlier. And when we realized the video was gone, all she did was fire up a pot of coffee, and we did the interview again because she wanted you guys to see it, and that's incredible. So anyone out there who is watching this, please send her all the thanks in the world, because we ended up doing the interview twice. So when you hear us referencing back, that's literally why, because we're doing the interview twice over. So I can't believe it, and I'm so grateful, and it's so awesome. Also, if you want to check out the first interview, I'm actually going to put an audio link in below in the description somewhere, so you can go listen to the first one. Now, it's largely the same, but we have some more flowing banter in certain parts, and we joke around in other parts. It's entertaining in its own respect, but it is the same interview. I do want you to know that. But yeah, I'll put that link down there so you can at least listen to the audio version of the first try that we had. Also down below is everything as far as Twitter links go, anything that we talk about. I'm going to put everything down there, so check out the description. It's very important. And guys, that's it. This is episode 3 of What They Play. Enjoy it. Thank you very much. What's up, everybody? This is the third episode of What They Play. My name is Mako Titan, and I'm joined today by, you might know her as Emma Bowman from Contradiction, Spot the Liar, but this is Miss Anarosa Butler. How are you doing today?
Hola, ¿qué tal? I'm very good. How are you, Charles? How's it going? Greetings from Barcelona.
I feel as if we've done this before.
Is this deja vu?
It is. For those of you watching, this is the second time we're doing this interview, and we literally got through the entirety of it, and then I realized that I destroyed it from the ground up.
Basically, there is audio, but we couldn't see each other, so we thought we'd give it another shot. And I don't know whether people want to see us or not, Charles. That's another debate, but we won't put it that thread right now. So we thought we'd. This is why I have my coffee with me, to anyone who's watching, because we thought we might be here a while, guys. It might be a long.
They want to see you. They don't want to see me. They came to see you.
Fantastic. Hope I'm happy to help. Cool.
So we're going to go through these a second time, and I apologize for that. For the viewer, this is your first time, so here we go.
They don't know. It's fine. It's all
They
exciting.
do now, so I've let the cat out of the bag.
That's fine.
Contradiction was such a monumental moment for FMV games, because before, I mean, it's been done well in the past couple years, but this was the best way it's ever been seamlessly put together, in my opinion. But it really kind of just, when it came out, it was out, and it was fine, but then GiantBomb.com happened, and they came, and they just kind of opened the floodgates and brought this huge spotlight on Contradiction. And my question is, how did that really affect you? How did that come about, your attentions, and in what way? It really was kind of just overnight, I guess, but...
It was odd. I'll tell you what it is. And to all the listeners and viewers out there, it was, if you can imagine, you're just going through your daily routine and you're just doing your thing. And the thing is, Contradiction was just another gig for me as an actor. I did it. I'm used to things taking their time, being edited and put together. And it's normally a year when anything comes out. So when Giant Bomb took it on board, and I got a text actually from Rupert, who plays Jenks, who's one of my best friends in real life. And as I was saying to you earlier, I think I was in work. I was waitressing at the moment, at that time in Dublin, and as any actor does, of course, that's what we do. I was on a smoke break, and don't smoke, it's bad. And he's like, have you seen this? And then I was reading it, and then Twitters and people wanting to cosplay us, and people.
How does that feel?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind it if Emma had this like sexy cat suit, was all, looked like a Bond villain. But I had a black top which I actually wore, that I was part of my waitressing ensemble, and my mother's Aran cardigan, which I don't know why I decided, because I had to fly from Dublin to Liverpool to shoot that. So I'm like, well, thank you for cosplaying me, but it's not. I mean, just dressing up as whoever that person could be Emma. But it was very odd, because I saw in one of the Twitter or one of the feeds, it was like, dibs on Emma. And I was
really.
It was very sweet. I thought, why, thank you, kind stranger, that you want to dress up in a black top and an Aran cardigan. Thank you very much. It was very overwhelming, I'll be honest with you, and I don't know how famous people incorporate that, and how they make that transition from an unknown to a known. Because I mean, I'm very unknown. I mean, I teach English over here. My students don't care who I am. In fact, I'm just their annoying teacher who's very very strict with grammar, basically. So and they're gamers as well, but I can touch on that in a while. But it's strange, and it's still very humbling, because these are people that we don't know, and they know us. And obviously one could then argue, well, why do you go into the art of acting? Why do you go into such a craft? And I mean, that's another game for another, that's a whole other title. We're not going to go there, but you do it because you love it. And then when there's recognition, because you spend so many years doing things that nobody ever watches. And it's true, I've done so many shows where there would be more cast members than audience members, and they were small shows. When you're there doing a curtain call to one person, you die a little that day, you do. But the fact that Contradiction is still on there's still a heartbeat, and it's still in the conscience of these people, amazing. It's fantastic. And it's lovely. That's the word. It's lovely.
As I mentioned previously in our first take on this, there's a fan question section later on, and when I put the word out on the Giant Bomb Facebook page, on their forum sites, and other random places, it kind of lit up the community. Like, people still want to ask you questions, ask Rupert, Jenks questions, and it did hit a nerve. Contradiction did hit a nerve that we didn't know we really wanted until you gave it to us, and it's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what it is. And in fact, last weekend, I was hanging out with Rupert. We were working on a couple of other projects. And he is as baffled as I am in that sense. And I am super proud for him as well, because he's a very talented person, not only as a writer, an author, a director, but he's a great actor. And I think, and I'm loving the fact that it's his time to shine. So, and I love the fact that I can snatch onto him and go, he's my friend. Jenks is my buddy. So therefore, Emma and Inspector Jenks in real life actually are like brother and sister. He's tremendous. And we were discussing what it is about Contradiction, and I think it's the fact that it's the cinematography of it. It looks beautiful. It's fantastic. And I'm not speaking about my acting, but the acting overall, it's great. It really is. And it's, as a gamer, which I used to be, I'm exposed to something which is, it's a film that's happening before me that I get to control. And we all want to be in our own movies, And we all have that thing where you put on a song and you're walking down the street, you're in your own music video. It's that theme, it's that air of similarity. So, yeah, what it's touched on, I think maybe it could be the genuine, it maintains to the truth of the situation in a heightened sense.
Right.
I think, and I think that's what gamers like. I don't know, or I could just be.
That's a great answer. No, and also
nonsense.
to add to that, it is a style of game that the term retro gets thrown around quite a lot, but
I love retro. I'm all about retro. I'm vintage.
but I like that even better. Vintage. It is
Totally.
it is something that was never done well in the past. As you know, as you go back and look at things like, I don't know if you know what Night Trap. You know what Night Trap is? That.
No, but I have Googled other FMV games, and I mean, I'm not going to be critical.
No.
They were certainly different, interesting
Before
to
their
look at.
time. How about that?
Yes, they were before their time. They were very ambitious, but yet did not have the tools to execute
Mm-hmm.
such a genre with maybe delicacy and fine tuning.
As we had discussed previously, the time of games past, so to speak. That was a dumb thing to say, but they were compressed videos in a game, and it was all grainy and mosaic looking. It didn't work as well as it should have. And then when the resurgence happened, it was a micro bit of FMV here, a little bit of FMV here, and then that snowballed, and here we are today. With Contradiction. So.
and ta-da! And Contradiction was, they gave birth to it, and look at it go. Look at it toddle away. So,
a question I had gotten from fans, but also
Yeah.
something that I personally had wanted to ask you, was the
Sure.
process of becoming Emma Bowman, the casting call. How did you go about getting the role itself?
To be honest with you, it was one of the easiest gigs that landed on my lap. And as an actor, that is something that one aspires to, because we all hate having to go to auditions. Even though it's part and parcel. That's the whole point of being an actor, right? You have to go and audition, but at the same time, we hate them. And John Guyler, the very uber talented John Guyler, is a friend of mine as well. He had been working on a couple of other projects, of which I was involved in with Rupert, and so therefore we knew each other. And John then obviously had witnessed or seen what I could do, and he was in charge of casting this, essentially. Well, obviously with Tim's approval, Tim Pollen. But I got an email saying, look, this is happening. Do you want to do it? And of course, I jumped at the chance. Now, the email had been sent, whatever way it had been sent, it was in my junk folder. So it's been lying around. It's been lying around for like a week. And I just decided one day to go, I never look at my junk folder. I wonder what is behind this. What goes on in here? And apart from a lot of emails asking me if I wanted to augment various parts of my body, there was this email. Yeah, I know, right? I know. This is what the universe tells me on a daily basis. I saw this email saying, "Ooh, do you want to do this? We're doing a video game." It wasn't that it was vague. I just saw a gig. We'll pay your expenses. Come over and you get the show with us. As an actor, I'm like, is my travel funded, please? Because I'm a resting actor at the moment.
Right.
Unemployed. I'm a resting actor, clearly busy in other projects. And that was that. And it was as easy as that, Charles. It was as easy as getting an email, as opposed to having to go through the mill and the cattle call of callbacks and doing this and doing that and doing the other. So there you go.
There you go. That's
it.
That's a good answer, and it doesn't. You look at that and you say, oh, there must have been a long auditioning process. You must have been sitting in a room with like 30 other Emmas.
I'll be honest with you. Just as a quick aside, I have been to commercial castings, or cattle calls, as we all call them in the industry, and it is very funny when you walk in and it's just a series of people that look somewhat like you, and you're looking at this and you're thinking, Jesus, this is what life might be like when cloning comes into play. And you're like, hey, how's it going? And then you start seeing the same faces as well. It's very funny, and it's like, so get the last gig? No. Did you? No, didn't get the gig either. Okay, cool. Well, best of luck. But no, I wasn't sitting in a room with 30 other Emmas being very verbose and dark and nonchalant and
just lying to everyone, getting ready for the role.
No, it wasn't like that at all. And also there was the case of the accent as well. So
right.
That was the thing. I remember saying to both Tim and John, well, where do you want Emma to be from? It's do you want her to be Irish, or I can do an English accent as well. So they and rightfully so. They said no, try and do an English accent. So that's what I did, and hopefully it translated well, or it was convincing.
It was.
Well, thank you very much.
It very much so was.
I'm an actor. See, I'm a chameleon.
When you watch the scenes in Watch and Play, the scenes of Contradiction, it's cut, back and forth, depending on how the erratic behavior of the player can get.
Listen, sorry to interrupt you. I tried playing the game. I bought the game. I tried playing it with Jenks. We were playing it on my iPad. Got stuck. I didn't know because it had been so long.
But you know what happens?
We'd forgotten what had gone on, and in fact, one of our other mutual friends had proceeded further in the game, and I saw a scene. I don't want to give anything away, but there's a part where I get emotional. I'd forgotten about that. I didn't know, and I'm thinking, oh, that's cool. Yeah, honestly, that's how good the game was, that we had forgotten and we were playing it, and even we got stuck. It was wrecking our heads. It was getting addictive. That's why I had to put the game away. It was very. But to go back to your question in terms of the shooting.
Yeah, how was that shot compared to a movie or a commercial? How was that broken up and different from an FMV game?
Yeah, well, I mean, with a movie, albeit shorts, you would have the same timeline. It would be 2 or 3 days. But the fact even if you shoot a movie that the storyline is linear, obviously you might start with the last scene first and then work around according to schedule and locations. But this was disconnected from the get-go in terms of script as well, because I had to just learn my parts, which were disconnected because it was just a sequence of answers. But at the same time, you have the whole overall story, the overriding scenario, which I also had to read in a disconnected fashion and understand what the other characters were doing, and then try and connect. And this is where I get all thespian-y and actory, and extract the truth from that, and then bring that onto the role, and then still learn my lines and not know where the lineage was, and still deliver it in some sense. And if you add on top of that a very long day of shooting, where it gets to like 1 o'clock in the morning, it's great. I highly recommend it. It's fantastic.
Anyone who has the opportunity to do it should do it.
It actually, yeah. To be honest with you, it was the good thing is that we all loved each other on set, so it was great. So we all knew each other, so it was fine. There were no divas on the night.
Was there? It seems like it was broken up in such a way. Did you meet everybody on the cast, or was there days or you didn't see any of them?
No, I just had one day. So I flew in, did my bit with Simon, Magnus, and Rupert, Inspector Jenks. John Geiler, Ryan Rand, was on set that day because he was also, he took on the role of producer as well. So therefore he was there. And obviously just the technical crew. And that's it. And that's
wow.
I haven't met the others, only via Twitter. We've said hellos and things. But yeah, that's the magic of cinema, I guess.
That was actually this. Obviously, by now people know this is the second time we're doing this interview. That was a question that I had actually overlooked before that I was interested in. So that's interesting. I would never have guessed that it was actually so in a box, so to speak.
It was pretty much. It was do it, get on set, shoot it, wait, do it, bang, 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 bang. And I only met Simon or Magnus just the night before when I landed in. Yeah.
I like that when I asked about having you on the show, I liked that when you discussed Rupert Booth, you didn't say Rupert at all at first. You said Jenks. From the get-go, he was Jenks. And I just find that astonishing, because in my head now, I'm going, how do I separate this? You're calling him by his character name on Contradiction.
I know, the man and the myth, right? Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Well, I think it was just because everyone knows him as Jenks. I think it's more personal in a weird way to actually just refer to him as Jenks, because he is, to everybody out there, with the hat. But he is in fact Rupert Booth. He is an author, a published author, and and director as well. And he's more than just a roaming inspector going through small villages trying to figure out deaths of people, deaths and finding IDs and things like that, and going and do you know what this means? And this by the way, is this hand action has taken off. Look, you do it better than me. It's ridiculous. I know.
There was something in the Giant Bomb playthrough which was funny. He may have gotten better at this because when he first did this, you could clearly see him having to hold his hands.
Not a clue. Yeah, not a clue. Like, what are you doing, Rupert? Like, what's that? It's like a deformed version of this.
Yes.
And then he just kind of went.
And in doing so, became like the most infamous part about a large scene in that game. Like that, and it wasn't just that he could ask one person that. It was that you could ask everybody everything in the game, which meant for you personally, you had to know or not know about everything in the game.
I know, unbelievable. And so my Jenks hat goes off to Rupert on that, because there's what I loved what he did is that there is variety in the delivery of his questions. It's not boring, but yet if you look back, they are the same questions essentially that he has to ask to every single person.
Right.
And in fact the hat was he only decided to put the hat on last minute. It wasn't even on purpose.
Oh really?
Yeah,
that's Inspector Jinx. That's
Inspector Jenks. It's the hat. It's almost like the Van Helsing effect. It's like this hat. Really, now it didn't change size every time there was a close-up. It was still the same hat. But it's funny how these things, and it's particularly how fans pick up on details that we dismiss and that yet they love. So, and the same with Emma. I didn't realize that. I didn't think she would I suppose garner so much attention, because it's Jenks and Ryan Rand, and also the leader of Atlas. It was interesting. It's just interesting. It's a learning curve, and it's very fascinating.
Real quick, we had. I almost hate to bring this up because I know the answer, but one of my questions was: does anything happen off camera that you would find funny or noteworthy as a story to tell on the show about behind the scenes of Contradiction? You may proceed with this amazing story.
Sure. Now, unfortunately, on so many levels, I wasn't there on the day, but there is a scene where they are in this house. I can't remember the name of it, but they had to shoot very quickly. I think it was a pickup, and they had booked it, but they had 5 minutes. And unfortunately, within that building that day, there was a funeral at the same time, and they had to ask the mourners to move to the side because they had to shoot.
That's terrible.
It's wrong on so many levels, but this is us, Charles. This is what happens to us, you know.
How did they double book this? I don't understand how that happens.
Well, I suppose, death is quite an unpredictable thing.
Well, yes.
I don't think that person had it penciled in their calendar that day.
Contradiction shooting here. Gotta wait.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, gotta hold on. Gotta cling onto the strings of life for just a couple of more days. No, I mean, it's terrible, but it's so dark.
We should move on before we go to hell. Just saying.
Well, look, being half Irish, I'm already there.
Oh wow!
Our humor is dark enough. This is how it feeds our souls, which is why we create so many great writers. I think it's because of the bad weather and the access to fantastic whiskey. Basically, we just go and just see the darkness of life and laugh about it, because that's all we can do.
You make the best of things.
Yeah, you find a silver lining in that cloud that hovels along. And also another thing as well, behind the scenes, it would be just a lot of laughter. I don't know, there is one point, I can't remember whether it's me or if it's Rupert, but you can see the faint tremblings of like because we were sitting like this. Okay, so if it's almost like my face is here, and we were this close to each other. I know, I'm sorry to the viewers. But it was just very funny, and it's like, it was 1 o'clock, we were getting giddy, we had a lot of coffee, and my accent at that stage was going through Europe, I don't know. Emma started off in England and then was just kind of going
The world tour.
via Turkey. Yeah, like, have you seen this man? It's like I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, I whatever. So we did laugh. There were a lot of cases of corpsing, and there were a lot of cases of, come on, guys, pull yourselves together. Yeah, sorry. Okay, come on, we're professional. This is great. This is what we do. So therefore, yeah, it would be great to have a bloopers reel just purely for that.
If you could possibly help me here, when you
Sure.
search for Protoverse, you get confusion. That's what you get. I want to know more about Protoverse, and I want the viewers to know more about Protoverse. So tell me about Protoverse.
Sure, that's great, and thank you so much for bringing it up. Protoverse is a project that is basically Rupert Jenks's brainchild. It's a feature film which has been in pre-production, and anybody out there who works in the film industry understands that the pre-production aspect is a nightmare. It's also the part where it's almost where the film, it's the chrysalis stage before we start shooting. We are currently the reason that there isn't a lot out there at the moment is because we want to get more content to actually thus promote Protoverse. So therefore there
Sure.
are bits and pieces, and it's still, I suppose one could say, it's almost mysterious and elusive. Protoverse is, the universe ended in 1999.
As it
This
did.
is what we have, as it does, and this is what we have. The Protoverse is and before people go, oh, it's like the Matrix, it is nothing like that. Okay, so let me just put my foot down on that. Refugees from the Protoverse have come over onto our world. I play the lead. I am. My father was Albert Vent. He disappeared. He was part of the Protoverse. I never knew my father. I am indeed half human, half proty, and thus a sequence of events lead to these characters that are on the run. One of the characters holds the key to the protosphere, which then is something that members of Department H want to steal, to thus destroy it and destroy any refugees from the Protoverse. So therefore, it works on a lot of levels, almost like on a political level as well. And Rupert plays one of the leads as well. And only just last weekend we were discussing, and we're doing more shorts. I've written, co-directed one. I'm going to do another one here in Barcelona. But yeah, people, so if the fans are interested, it's Protoverse. Check it out. Just Google it. Send us tweets. Ask us questions. We're happy just to tell you how the process is coming along, and to try and get more support for that, because
Right.
if you liked Jenks, then you like Protoverse, because it's a surrealist comedic sci-fi.
I will
Unlike
make
it,
it easy for everyone, and the link's going to be down in the description for the Facebook page for Protoverse. So it's easy. Just click it.
you're a rock star. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Moving
Basically.
moving on. This
Yes.
part of the show is called What They Play.
Hmm.
And that means I want to know stuff about what you played. And
I did.
we got into this huge discussion. I have half a mind to just put the audio version of what we talked about before down below. So
Why not? The fans
yeah,
have twice, they have double the pleasure. Okay, that's cool.
that way they can go back and say, this is where they said the same thing twice.
Exactly.
But one of the questions that I was most interested in is, what did you play, and what was your favorite game growing up as a kid?
Well, I mean, I'm an only child, so therefore so gaming was actually huge. I loved gaming. So I mean, I'm talking old school now. I'm talking NES, Duck Hunt, and in fact, I have a very funny memory that my mum. I remember playing Duck Hunt and just going up to the television and pointing the gun and just shooting at the ducks. My mum actually got
That was cheating, though. That was cheating.
my mum got upset with me because I was cheating with a gun. I mean, I don't know what that says or what that implied, but yeah, so I remember that. I know. I went through. Then I was a SNES girl. Super Mario, of course. Game Boy. Tetris. I mean, I spent hours playing that game, and I loved it. Also the Mega Drive, Sonic and Tails,
Mm-hmm.
classic. Game Gear was interesting.
Mm-hmm. As I
Because I think it
described,
should be, yeah, the
yeah.
fact that you just switch it on and then the battery just died.
It
And you're like, okay.
immediately 37,000 batteries in the one compartment, and the battery dies, and then you forever drain your parents' pocketbooks for money, forever getting new
Right?
batteries.
And you'd be all excited because you had to go on a trip somewhere. You're like, I'm 9 and I have my trusty Game Gear, and then like 5 minutes into the journey, it's like, okay, I'll just read a book then. Great. And then the first, yeah, I know. And then the first PlayStation with Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, man, what a gal. And but then, as I said to you before, something happened that I turned my back, and then the internet happened,
Yep.
and Doom and World of Warcraft, and I got very confused, and I still am actually. So that's been a long journey of confusion for gaming. But I do remember playing things like Mortal Kombat with one of my buddies like years ago on the PlayStation 2. That was good. I think I started getting scared when gaming consoles started being connected to the internet and headpieces and talking to people in other continents and people shouting at you for not picking up coins. I think that's just when I backed away. I just like my games to be self-contained with just me, myself, and I. And
Well, we jumped ages here so quickly, and me personally, I was an arcade kid. I lived in the arcade. And then I was the guy who put his quarter down or his token on the machine, and if you touched my token, I was next in line. I was going to fight you.
I will break your face.
And we'll
with
just.
my little.
Well, we went from that to waiting in lobbies online for a much less pleasurable social interaction, and I miss it. I miss that a lot. I made some of my best friends that way.
Exactly, and especially when you were, and do you remember like being in the arcade and when Street Fighter was at its peak?
Yes.
And like there'd be the one kid who'd be like beating everyone's, kicking everyone's asses, and then there would be just a queue of people, and like the girls, we'd all just like groupies. It's so pathetic. We'd be like, oh God. Oh, who's this kid now coming up with his Chun-Li about to kick this guy's ass who's been there for like the last half an hour? Unreal. But now you don't have that anymore because we're all sitting inside with things on our faces, talking to strangers and shouting at them and leaving weird comments.
It has its place, but it's definitely evolved. And I feel kind of sad for the kids growing up in this day and age who won't know the struggle of the Game Gear, who don't have the appreciation for the things that we may have. So...
Exactly. It was very rustic, wasn't it? It was very, and you know, the cartridges, and if there was something wrong, you just bang it a bit, and then you.
Oh my gosh!
I know. Yeah. I miss things that you get to. You know, you felt a sense of achievement if something was kind of broken, and if you gave it like a slap, and just tried to dust off some. Dust from it, and you got it working again.
People hyperventilating from blowing into their Nintendo cartridges.
Just trying to save the thing, exactly, you know? Oh, I miss those days.
Hey, they were good.
It was a simpler age.
We are getting close to the when I was your age territory. We gotta take a step back. We're not that old. But it does make me...
We're youthful and delightful, Charles. What are you talking about? Exactly.
I
Kicking
agree.
it with the youngins.
Hey, I have been up for nearly 24 hours. We're doing pretty good.
You are an absolute legend, may I say. So fair play to you. Good man.
Well, thank you very much. Moving on from that note,
Sure.
Where am I at? I have no idea. We've gone beyond the structure of rules and lists here.
We've hit the wall and we've completely annihilated it. It's great. We've decimated that bad boy.
I did skip this because I thought this was a dumb thing to say, but we're beyond that. So, this in question, this right here, ballpark, how many times have you heard that?
I haven't heard it, but Jenks, Rupert has, the poor, and he's actually stopped wearing the hat because he's worried that somebody might notice him as Jenks.
Oh no.
Like that. And also the sentence, have you seen this? Well, we can't say that anymore. That's out. That's out. Have you seen this? No, I don't want to answer that, basically. We now have to rephrase that as, are you aware of this item in question? Would you be familiar with it? Have you come across this thing before? So this, yeah, although the fans do love this, and I got one fan via Instagram who managed to key it out properly with the hashtag.
Right, I've seen that.
Forward slashes, yeah. But he actually gave me two versions, and I thought, fair play, well done. I don't know. Great.
Have you personally thought of any future endeavors in doing any voice acting for video games or animated films or anything like that?
Yes, I would love to. In fact, I just had I have a voice reel which I need to update, but I have been told from other people that I do have a range, and I like to think I'm okay at accents. So I would love to, and especially the genre would be, uh, I like vampire films, and things like that. So I would like something like that. But anything is cool. But in fact, I that's one thing that I want to investigate this year as a performer would be more voiceover work. Exactly.
Excellent. And I'd love to see it too. So,
Great, thank you.
on this lovely list of twice over that we've done, I asked you about this lovely device here, the Oculus Rift, and if you have experienced anything in virtual reality yet. You briefly told me that you hadn't, and all I can say to you, try. If you get the opportunity, it's worth diving into for a brief moment, if anything else.
You know what the problem is? I think Lawnmower Man affected me. That really, it's a great film, and it really still stands. It's kind of still stands up on its own even nowadays. But it freaked me out. And you told me that if you're watching something scary in your Oculus, did you call it the Oculus?
Oculus, yes.
Oh my God. Okay, and the thing is behind you, and it's about to attack you, and even though you're in the game, you no. But you did say that it had its benefits in terms of people that might not be very mobile, that can travel through the world and things like that. So that's wonderful when technology has that symbiotic relationship with the natural. But
absolutely,
when things are freaking me out that aren't there and that I don't want to see in the first place, and have to stick things on my face. Oh.
Something I didn't mention earlier. I can't believe I didn't say this the last time. There is, with this particular device, it is so convincing to your brain, the original set of lenses that come with it, even though the screen is right here, I'm nearsighted, and my eyes are actually kind of really bad. So when I take my glasses off, I can't see anything far away. When I put this on, the screen is here, but things in the distance are still very blurry because my eyes believe that it is still far away. Now, here's the amazing thing. It comes with a second set of lenses that is for people with nearsightedness. This gave me a feeling that I felt like almost like I can't even put it in the words, but it's for people with nearsightedness. I take my glasses off, I put these on, and I can see things far away without my glasses for the first time in years and years and years. And
so you're like a robot.
It just feels like someone came and fixed my eyes in a second, and it's astonishing. I actually had to take it off and go, that just happened. Like, it's so weird that it can do that for you, and it. So there are different benefits and things that can happen with future technology, and
of course,
I mean, that's why I say if you do get the opportunity, give it a shot.
And by all means, but I think I don't know anybody with Oculus Oculus Prime. I feel like I should say Oculus Prime, like the transformer that never was. It just changes into a set of sunglasses.
Right. Oh, you know what? That makes perfect sense.
You're like, oh, okay, definitely. All right, cool. Okay. Sorry. This is how my brain works, by the way. This is why I'm doing a surrealist feature film, because this is how my brain works. It just travels down little corridors of nonsense.
I'm right there with you. There's no worries at all.
Happy days. Happy
yes,
days.
Absolutely. And it is almost day now where I'm at. I have a few fan questions, if you don't mind.
Of course, my love. Anything. Yes.
So, I went scouring the internet, Giant Bomb and Reddit alike, and got a few questions. And like I said before, if I did say it in this one, that when you mention Contradiction, people get very friendly and excited, and they want to know more. And knowing that I was speaking with you today, they had questions, so I wanted to jump into a few.
But fantastic, please.
I will still butcher this name no matter what. CS1316 from Giant Bomb asks, did you and the other actors, such as Rupert, who plays Jinx, know each other prior to working on Contradiction? Because the reason he asks is the chemistry was just so good between you two, and it just seemed like you had known each other forever.
Yeah, no, Rupert is one of my best friends. We know each other actually the crux of 8 years now. John Guyler, who plays Ryan Rand, yes, I knew him for a few years as well. And that's it, actually. Simon Magnus, I met the previous night, and also Tim, I had only met through getting the gig. So therefore, just the three of us that I just mentioned, yeah.
All right, well, that answers that, and you know what? That makes it kind of, it connects those dots because you guys did have a really good on-screen chemistry.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Pokey9513 asks, I love these names.
All right, Boogie.
How long was the shoot?
For me, it was a day. It was pretty much just a day, very concise, to the point. We shot everything. We were under time constraints, obviously, and the shoot itself, I think, maybe lasted, if you put all the days together, maybe a week and maybe a little bit longer. But it was shot sporadically because obviously we had to work around people's schedules. So
Sure.
therefore, so it did take a while to finish shooting in that sense because it was done on weekends. So I think all in all, a week, maybe a little bit longer. But it wasn't done all in the one go, in the one setting.
All right.
So there you are, Pokey.
Flash by Nature, who we discussed briefly earlier. You wanted to know, when you're not acting and doing what you do, what is your hobbies?
Flash me all flower. When I'm not acting, when I'm resting, is it?
That's that what we're going with, the resting?
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Yeah. What I do, well, to be honest with you, it's very creative based. What I do, in terms of hobbies, because I'm constantly writing. I do a lot of writing myself. So that for Rupert and I, we are engaged in a couple of projects at the moment that we are trying to develop, not only just for Protoverse, but external to that as well. I started writing lyrics because I want to start writing lyrics to electropop songs. I woke up one morning and wanted to do that. I love electropop. I think it's brilliant. I don't know how to write lyrics for electropop, but I think I will give it a go. Craft work, obviously, I love all that. And of course the general, going to the gym, she says, drinking coffee and not smoking a cigarette, and theater, reading. I like to read. I should read a lot more, actually. And just hanging out with people. I teach English as a foreign language, so I do a lot of lesson planning at the moment, and I'm kind of geeking up on my grammar and and words. So that's what I kind of do. Like, if you see me in my free time, I'm always, I don't know, trying to do something or going to a class of sorts. In fact, I'm going to a burlesque workshop tomorrow.
Staying busy. That is a great answer.
Busy.
Staying busy.
Just staying busy. Exactly. Flash.
And as stated before, I have this in huge letters and asterisks, and I'm sad because I know the answer. Everyone on the internet, this comes right from everybody, wants to know, is there any possibility of a contradiction to as of today?
Oh wow! Well, firstly, I just want to say thank you for the request and the hype and the absolute love that has been shown. As far as I'm aware, there isn't. Okay, because I know that Tim is a very talented developer, but I know he's also a very busy man. So it's down to him really, and he's so happy with the response as well. But alas, for the time being, that would be a no, unless people just want to hit Twitter and go, please, 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 please. You never know, but
there will be cars flipped. There will be fires in the streets. I'm telling you, this is.
Oh, the mob are going to go wild. Joking, messing. So that is the latest update. Contra 2. Yeah.
In closing, I do have a little section here that I would like for you to please tell everyone what they can do to go seek out any new information about projects you may be working on, things that you're doing. And like I stated previously, I will make sure to put links to everything, as many as I can, in the description, whether it be your Twitter, Rupert's Twitter, links to buy Contradiction on Steam.
Thank you.
Everything. I want to make sure that all the information we talk about is below. But is there anything else we didn't cover that you would like to discuss?
Do you know what? I think it's just what I'd like to discuss, actually, and I know we mentioned it briefly before. I think has been the warmth that has been displayed via the internet, because as you and I both know, it's a very scary place to
You have to have a thick skin.
You have to have a very thick skin when you put yourself out there in any genre and in any capacity, but because everybody's a critic, no matter what platform they use, okay? But for example, the Contradiction thank you video for Giant Bomb, I still can't compute the 19,500 hits that got. Listen, I shot it in my house in Dublin. It was amazing, and people were so lovely, and people, and constructive criticism, by all means, I will take that on board. That is what I do. I am an actor, and that is what my job is based on as well. You know, taking on board other people's opinions. And I mean, obviously, sometimes I get all woman-like. I'm like, they're wrong. But I do take it on board. But I think overall, the Contradiction fans are particularly a niche unto themselves, and they have been so lovely. So that is really what I want to say, because I can wholeheartedly take accountability for the whole team of Contradiction and thank the fans on our behalf. So that's what I want to do. With regards to any other projects, you know, if you want to follow me on Twitter, do. I'm on Instagram as well, you know, taking weird pictures of Barcelona and my life, if anybody wants to follow that, you know, because I happily follow other people's lives. And yeah, we have we're constantly uploading and updating our Protoverse site, but I think Twitter would be cool. Just drop us a question, we're happy to answer. And yeah, if you are interested in Protoverse, that would be great. We'd like to have you on board and follow us as we go through this bizarre process of making things. As you know what it's like, Charles, having to put something out there and trying to get people interested. It can be rewarding, and it can be I don't want to say soul destroying, but it can be soul destroying at times, and it can be
right. It's a daunting task. It's a very daunting task, because you, especially, you know, you mentioned, you know, me knowing what it's like starting from nothing, zero, nobody knows who I am, and having to climb each rung up, and that is with any profession and any career you choose to do. It's an uphill battle, and I'm very happy to see you winning that uphill battle.
Oh, well, listen, thank you so much. I mean, I don't know whether I'm still very humbled by the whole thing. And like I said to you, when I go back to work on Monday, my children that I teach and my teenagers do not care that I am Emma from Contradiction. They just know that I am the teacher that is a little bit strict and who doesn't like people saying rude words in my classroom in any language. So, yeah, so that battle, you know, life grounds you quite quickly, and rightfully so. But but yeah, it's I can't complain. So cool, and thank you again, and thank you to everyone watching Mako Titan as well. So I can only hope that your show grows bigger and better and brighter.
Thank you.
And fulfills everything that you want to accomplish as well.
Thank you so much, and
my pleasure.
Everybody, this has been the 3rd episode of What They Play. Anarosa, I'm humbled by the time you've given me. Not once, but twice we've done this interview, and
this is what we do. This is our thing, you know. That's TV. That's cinema, baby.
I am absolutely blown away by the kindness, and thank you so much.
An absolute pleasure, anytime.
Hey guys, welcome back. I know I said this at the beginning of the show, but this literally didn't happen without her recording this twice, and we owe it all to her. Thank you so much for doing what you did. Show some love down in the comments below and just say thank you, because that's the only reason this show actually came out the way it did. But guys, that's the end of this episode, and I appreciate you watching, and I guess there's just one more thing left to say. You know the drill! Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, become one of the Titans, and I'll see you guys in the next video!